Hello and welcome back to another Reap video. My name is JC. I am once again joined by Mark. Say hi, Mark.
Hello, Commander Uwu here.
And GNet. Say hello, GNet.
Yes, I am present.
Yeah, well, close enough. Uh,
Yes.
First off, before we begin the video, I would like to apologise for any beeping that you hear. My fire alarm is being a douche, and I've been told by the council not to touch it until they send somebody, so that's a problem. Now, this video is going to be slightly different. We're not going to be doing our usual bollocks, and it should be hopefully slightly shorter as well. Mark, would you like to tell the people what we're going to be discussing today?
Ooh, today's topics we'll be discussing the current chat issues and reporting issues with War Thunder and other games, and maybe touching on the easy cheat, possibly. That's about it.
Yes. So first off, as you are probably aware, if you're playing the game currently, and if you're not, then this might be news to you. The chat feature has been disabled. All chat features, squad chat, chatting in game, the quick chat, the quick messages are still available, but that's it. Nothing else. Watch, I'll try and send a message to Mark. There, that's what happened. This feature is not available yet. They've removed chat entirely from the game, and it is concerning. However, after some research, myself and Mark have found out several possible reasons. Before we start that though, I'd just like to point out that most of this is speculation and our personal opinions on the matter. We do not know 100% if this is exactly the reason. You know, this is just based on what's currently happening and our own experiences with the game. So, first off, the reason we believe has had the strongest impact upon this decision by Gaijin is the unfortunate circumstances regarding the Russian and Ukrainian conflict, which began not too long ago. Speaking of which, Gaijin disabled the chat on the 28th of February. That's the official disabling date, if you like. There's been a lot of speculation as to why this is, well, I say speculation, there's been a lot of reasoning as to why this is an issue, or why this has happened. So, what's your guys' opinion on the current situation with the Russian conflict, and how has this affected the chat then, and their decisions in this? Mark, I'll go to you first.
Well, I was going to say, I have past experiences with guys in returns to how they deal with the player base in certain situations, and I think, from personal experience on this one, I just think that they're taking the sort of stance of, we're not going to get involved in it, we're just going to block it for all intents and purposes, that it's not going to cause any trouble. Wargaming took down their chat from the Russian servers on the 25th, so I think that basically Gaijin...
That for World of Tanks then?
Yeah.
Their Russian cluster's been taken down, yes, I do remember that being something that happened. GNAT, ouch. Your opinion? Or your views
I think
on...
they're just trying to avoid conflict with the player base.
Yeah, I think due to the fact that obviously Russians and Ukrainians have been, well, according to sources and people that I've spoke to as well, other players, before the chat was banned, the Russians and the Ukrainians were, to put it mildly, going at each other, I think would be the safe way of putting it. Obviously, obviously, you can see. I can understand, why they've done it. conflicts going on. They don't want to get involved. They don't want backlash. They don't want anything like that. And it's.
I mean, would you like me to share a little story with your viewers, or do you think that's best left for another day?
Is it related?
Yes, it's very relevant to the current situation.
Go ahead then. I think if it's related, it's fine. I see no issue with that.
Well, Gaijin said you shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it needs to be said. And basically, Gaijin doesn't want to deal with racial hatred towards the players. They don't want to deal with it. They have told me that their private chats aren't monitored, and because they aren't monitored, I think this is why they have removed it as of now, because they can't monitor what's going on when they should be able to. Even when they have been provided with evidence to say that someone has said some nasty hatred words that I'm not going to mention on this stream, but aren't very nice and are directly related to a racial specific group of people, even when presented with evidence and the player's name who has sent this, and the fact that I did not like it, or said person did not like it, they still refuse to do anything about it. So I think, from personal experience, I think this is more of a case of they can't be arsed dealing with it, to be perfectly honest. So it's just the lesser of two evils, just to remove it for the time being.
So you think
that's my 10.
Yeah. So you believe that it's not just the conflict that's going on. You think there are multiple factors as to why this has happened. Well, that makes sense, I suppose, considering all of the stuff that we've had before as well. Mark, you're not the only one who's had experiences with this before. I believe some of our squadron members have also experienced this. Not going to name names out of privacy.
Yep.
But yeah, myself and you have had reports from fellow squad members stating very similar things to this as well.
Yep.
I think this is a problem, is that the conflict has escalated this issue, but it has always been there, given the toxic community that this game has.
Yes.
Because it is inherently a competitive game.
Yeah.
You get
and there's always
players
going to be those
who
people
are
out there.
over the top. You get players who think that, well, not think, but
All
players
I'm
who
say is they're the god's gift and they can say what the hell they like.
Yeah, I believe we've all experienced that one time or another. I've been in a game, killed a few people. One of them, after the game, has sent a message, mostly along the lines of, "Ooh, you're an ass," pretty much. People, the community, not everyone mind. I just want to point this out. Not everyone is toxic. We know a lot of people in our squad. We do get the odd one or two who's a bit iffy. Everyone does. But at the end of the day, most people that we know aren't like that.
And they're actually very nice people.
Yeah, I mean, GNAT, for example, he's American, so you expect bad things automatically.
Yeah.
Not really, GNAT. We love you here.
No. Well. Yeah.
Just going to say something.
Careful.
It's not just affected the fact that they're not going to do anything about it and they get nasty words, etc., etc., etc. It's affected our ability to be able to report those people.
Yes.
As well.
Okay, there's no point to remove the reporting part, though.
Yes.
This is what we're on about.
This is another issue that's come about with the loss of communication. Is the ability to report players has now vanished. There's no report button. I could probably show this quickly because I'm not near anybody, but I'm not going to report them if it is, but this dude, the guy I just killed, player action. The only action I can take against this player is to add him to the blacklist. That's it. Now, before you had a report mechanic button, and it's always been there, and it's something that I, myself and Mark use, or used, Not sure if Gene actually used it, but he's always been aware of it. It's always been there.
Yeah.
And
No,
now,
I've used it.
well, there you go then. But now, due to this issue, the button isn't there anymore. It's gone. We're not entirely sure why they've decided to remove this particular feature. It makes no sense. Removing the ability
it could be
to
a feature
report.
of the chat, couldn't it?
It might be, but that seems highly unlikely. There's no point to have that connected to the chat, though.
Yeah.
And yet, it seemingly is, because it's not there anymore.
Which causes huge problems for the majority of players that do want to play legitly.
Yes, because, and this leads on to another issue, the anti-cheat system. We've done some digging, and apparently it's not active for arcade battles. It was disabled due to an issue, and they never turned it back on, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not, but that is what our current research has led us to believe. It might be different. However, like I said, that is what our current research on the matter has dug up.
And well, some of the games this evening have been rather eventful.
Yes,
haven't
we
they?
have been. Myself and Mark have
Oh
been
my
playing
god.
more
Okay,
than
so
one game.
I'm gonna point this out. That SU-100 that you killed later on, I shot him 5 fucking times in the side and it didn't do anything. It just went straight through.
Yeah, I had that before. I'm pretty sure it got caught on the recording. Shot him in the engine, did nothing.
This recent guy that killed me,
Yeah, but
I couldn't shoot him.
yeah, this is
just
what
went straight
this
through.
is what me and Mark are saying. This is with the chat disabled, we can no longer report players like that who are. I mean, that guy very clearly, even though I killed him, he very clearly was doing something, and it wasn't just a case of latency that time, because you can tell when it's latency, which is an issue between PC and console players.
And it always has been.
It always has been, always will be. PC players naturally will be better at this, but
Yeah.
you know their latencies, their speeds are different, much faster. So yeah, but it wasn't a case of latency, as I'm sure the video will show. I shot the dude in the engine, and it did nothing to him.
Yeah,
Straight through him.
Basically, what we're saying is
Um,
because the chat's been disabled, it means that we can't report people, which means because the anti-cheat isn't available for usage and hasn't been since for quite a while, that all the bad people that we hate in this game are now coming out of the woodwork because they can know for a fact that they can get away with it.
Yes, they cannot be reported anymore, which means Gaijin, and because Gaijin doesn't monitor everything, they can't, because they can't, it's just an impossibility. Because most of the bans were basically players reporting them and them being investigated. With that gone, due to the chat disabled, it leads on to a whole host of other problems. But before we do get too sidetracked,
I didn't know that they could set bombs to instantly go off.
in arcade it depends on how high the plane is when it's dropped.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, but before we get too distracted by other issues, just want to quickly finish off about the chat disabling and everything that's going on with that. Like Mark mentioned, it has been, it's not just affected this game, although this being the one that we play mainly is the one we're going to be talking about. But like we mentioned earlier, World of Tanks and Wargaming have been affected. They've disabled their Russian clusters, so it's not just a specific set. Everything's been affected. Gaijin's offices are mainly centered in the EU region, which explains why they've not been able to do dev blogs.
But, yeah, but I will say this for the near future,
because
for
obviously-
everyone, is you're probably better off playing realistic or sim for the current time being,
yes.
because the easy anti-cheat does work for those platforms at this current time, and they are very limited in what they can do whilst they're in those modes. The best bet is to go and have a stab at doing sim, because it will be the most heavily guarded and most heavily criticised out of the two.
Yes, I do agree with that. We've been playing a lot more sim recently. We've noticed the games tend to be better. You know, aside from the fact that, you know, it takes obvious skill and actual actual thinking to play sim, more so than it does arcade, which I'm quite happily admit arcade is something that we play mainly when, you know, we want to not overthink things.
Oh, it's like five-a-side football, isn't it?
Yeah,
you have a
pretty
bit of a
much.
kickabout, but you're not going to go into the professional league, so...
No, of course not. Then realistic is obviously the next step up from that.
Yeah.
You know, requiring more skill, obviously. And then sim is the final test, you know. Ultra skill, if you like. But yeah, because of that, those two modes seem to have easy anti-cheat, whereas arcade does not. Again, not sure why it's only arcade that has it. If it works in realistic and sim, surely it would work for everything else. But
yeah, exactly.
never mind. We got sidetracked again. Oops. Always happens. Yeah. Always happens.
I don't want to be the mean one and point it out, but yeah.
Yeah, we got sidetracked. But another thing I want to...
the topics.
Yeah, there's a few things left, but the main parts have been at least spoken about. There are a few things left, such as I've seen people, and I've seen the more well-known content creators, the European Canadian being one of them, for example, mentioning that because they're content creators and partners, you know, they don't know any more than what we've been told and what we've been able to find out. You know, just because they have a contract with Gaijin doesn't mean that they get told everything. And this is
what we're saying is don't go bugging Stone or anybody else in the forum to try and get an answer out of them, because they know about as much as we do.
Don't bug the moderators, because not all of them work in the Gaijin offices. And I believe, I cannot remember who it was, but it was not. This is something that was pointed out in someone else's video. I can't remember who it is, but I'm not taking credit for this discovery. But people in the offices are pretty much the only people who will know the full reasons as to why chat has been disabled. You know, so content creators don't know. So don't go and bug them for answers. You know, don't spam comments going, you know, you have a contract with them. What's the reason? Because they don't know. Basically, there are other rumours as to why, but the main ones are due to the Russian-Ukraine conflict, which sadly is still happening and has escalated recently, unfortunately.
Back to the Gaijin thing. Do you think they'll ever bring back cheats? I mean, not cheats.
Cheats.
Comms.
You mean chat?
Yeah.
You mean
chat.
will they re-enable chat?
That is a good question, actually. I don't know.
Would.
Because it's very out there to even disable it in the first place.
Yeah, to get rid of it fully is a bit... I don't agree with it. I understand. I say I understand. I get why they did it.
But they should have had the ability to monitor racial harassment, abuse, and other such things in the first place.
But that's the thing.
From my understanding and experience, it's not on.
No, this isn't a recent thing. Unfortunately, the conflict has just brought it into a much harsher light. I believe, you know. But this is not a recent thing. I've been playing this game for 6 and 7 years, and it's always been an issue.
I don't think it's a just cause to get rid of it.
No, it's not. No. It not completely. I can understand tighter restrictions, maybe.
Yeah, but there's no real reason to get rid of it just because of two countries having a conflict.
Well, I think the issue is very complicated.
It's to do with propaganda, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
the bigger picture.
It's believed because of certain things that have been said during games and on the chat system itself. You know, arguments between members of said countries have escalated into threats, quite harsh threats, I believe. And someone in the squad has told me death threats have been issued, which again usually happens. However, it's much more serious given the conflict, I think, and that's a problem. Not something, you want to see in the middle of a battle, really. But no, I agree with you completely, Gina. Getting rid of something that is essentially a core mechanic of the game is a bit of overkill.
It is.
Because, I mean, realistic
it's just a cheap band-aid.
Yeah. Realistic and sim modes have been hit hardest by this. Because the ability to say, dude is over there, and give an accurate description of where he is rather than just attention to the map, which doesn't always help.
Which is bloody pointless.
Yeah.
So
in sim mode, I think it's an issue as well because you can't spam the map for a helicopter. The only thing I don't think we've covered, I think, is the blacklist and how that doesn't it's almost a redundant feature, given the fact that
not really.
Yeah. Even before chat was removed, blacklist. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've used blacklist. Mark's used blacklist. I presume GNet has. I don't know.
What does blacklist even do?
It blocks players. You can't see messages from them. They can't contact you. They can't invite.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Okay.
Yeah, so it is effectively your own sort of chat ban, I guess, if you think about it.
No, it's just
it's a lot more
blocking
than that,
thing.
Yeah.
That's
but
really
my point is, it's almost a redundant feature.
Okay.
Even before the chat ban, I admit I used it, but there's no point. Because at the end of the day, if you blacklist every player that says something to you that's mildly insulting, you're going to end up banning the entire player base. You can have everybody blacklisted.
Stop.
No, exactly. You can't stop them. You
just
won't be able
to
see it. You can blacklist them all you want. It's not going to stop them from doing it.
I'm saying that doesn't stop you from playing with those people. It just stops communications with those people. And that's right in its own way, but the fact that you're going out of your way to talk to them, too, can also be in a matter of fact of why they're saying such hurtful things.
Yeah, and it's just pointless, and unfortunately, this is just a result of years of nothing by Gaijin. Years of doing nothing in regards to racial slurs. Years of doing
I'm
nothing.
I'm going to leave that one for now, you know what I mean.
Years of doing absolutely jack when it came to, players providing evidence and going, excuse me, this is what has been said to me, or to a friend.
I think Gaijin's just being lazy.
Yeah. They can't...
Well, I think it's also the government. Bearing in mind it is a Russian developer, so you got to bear that in mind when making these sort of opinionated views that we don't understand fully what they know,
No, we don't.
So
that's another point of saying at the start of this video that this was all conjecture, guesswork, educated guesswork, mind, but still opinionated.
This is speculation, like JC said, so I don't imagine this is what we're going off as opposed to
any
other factual evidence.
At the end of the day, Gaijin is a games company. They want, they run off of profit.
Yeah.
Give me your
and
money.
Given the fact that War Thunder is not only popular in Russia, but also the US, England, China as well.
They don't want
they don't want to
hot waters with their own country that they're based in.
Yeah,
not their own country, but the country that they're based in.
Wargaming's one for World of Tanks is currently been down since the 25th, and we don't know when they're going to be back up. So just to let you guys know that is what's going on. It's nothing wrong with your systems or anything else. Don't bother contacting War Thunder about it because they know about as much as we do at the moment, and until further notice, we won't know what's happening.
Yep. Again, apologies for the heavy topics. We know we're not used to talking about this sort of shit. And given
we just like shooting people in the face, it's great.
Exactly. Given the sensitive nature of the conflict, and given how that directly relates to what we're talking about, we don't want to offend anybody, and we hope we didn't offend anybody in this. But we just wanted to like Mark said, information. That's all we're doing, relaying information and our own opinions on the matter. But yeah, heavy topic aside, thank you for watching this video, and the next video we post will not be so heavy.
Oh, let's just hope we make it some more fun.
Oh yes, indeed.
Yes.
See you guys later. Say goodbye, everybody.
I shall catch you guys later when the Reach Squad is out.